Hi, my name is Ophir Chen, and today I'm going to demo the ability to automatically create a DT Parser, serializer, and an XSD out of Excel specification for a delimited file. As you know, within B2B DT, you can create a transformation between any format to any other format. Consider the following format. And as you can see, it is a delimited file. I have several different segments over here. Each segment is represented by the first 3 characters of a line. And then a segment is broken into its literals using the pipe, and the field may be broken into some additional level of delimitation using a different delimiter. In order to parse or serialize that kind of a file, you could obviously go into DT and within the studio manually create a DT transformation for that. In this demo, I'll show you that you can actually use a predefined template within Excel, which you can give to a business analyst versus a developer. And by the business analyst documenting really the structure of the file, you can automatically get the runtime objects. As you can see, this Excel file, which is the template, represents the structure of the file that I'm going to parse. The topmost level, I have a field for the transformation name, which I'm calling purchase order, representing the content of my file. Then I have a set of delimiters that I'm setting for this file in a hierarchy from top to bottom, meaning the segment is at the topmost level, and I'm saying that it has a delimiter of a new line, which I'm representing by a regular expression using a pattern over here, coming after the segment. Field is represented by a type, which I'm looking using a text search, coming before the field. Field can be broken into sub components of the field using the composite field delimiter, which is the caret sign over here. And so on, I can have another set of delimiters, which we're not going to cover right now. Within the Excel, in the main table, you can see that I'm representing the different parts of the document in the following way. I'm setting the level of the specific component, starting from one end, going up in order to nest one thing within another. At the topmost level, I have a segment which I'm calling POI. I'm saying that it's mandatory, and I'm also saying how do I find this kind of a segment by looking for a text with the value of POI coming before the segment. And then the segment is broken into fields in this case, which could be in simple fields like delimiter, code, and delivery date in this case. I can also add a pattern or an enumeration to represent some sort of validation that I would like to do for the value of those fields. There are other types of fields like order date time in this case, which is a composite field. And this field contains the 2 literals of it, which are date and time. And those are just over here. The 4th field, which is order date time, is broken into subfields called date and time. Once the user, the business analyst usually completes this specification, that can be sent to the developer so that he can do the following. you can create a project out of this specification. I'll call it PO Delimited. And I'm going to choose a delimited hierarchy import project and point to the Excel specification file. When doing that, you can see that a new DT project was created on my studio. And that project contains parser, serializer, and the XSD. If I open the XSD, you'll be able to see that the structure of the XSD corresponds both with structure but also with the names of the fields to the names that I was using or the business analyst was using within the Excel. You can also test the project itself. You can choose whether you want to run the parser portion of it or the serializer portion. In my case, I'll just use the parser, and I'll point it to a sample file that I would like it to execute against. Running that, and I can go to the results and see it in an XML format. Obviously, the same that I was using here to execute the parser, I can do with the serializer, and I can go into it or from the main screen, from the menu bar, I can choose to run the serializer as long as I have a corresponding XML to it. The parser is obviously a DT parser. Therefore, if I want to make any changes to it, I can go into the script and modify it. Say that I want to add one more element over here. I can go and say another element. This is obviously not the best approach of doing that. Best approach would be to go to the Excel, add one more field into it, and re-import the specification into DT so that everything would get updated properly. The last thing that I'd like to make clear, this is not a product as of now, and the package is owned by the B2B vertical team within the IPS organization. If you'd like to get more information or obtain the package, please contact the IPS B2B vertical team. Thank you.